It's beginning to look a lot like raindrops. Yeah, so in the last video when I made the Scotland joke, that joke, as you can see, probably would have made more sense to put on this video, but I didn't know that, okay? I didn't know. Also just realized in front of me it looks like the rain's going that way. Okay, well, let's go drive my soggy bus to the high school. And is there water on the lens? Of course there is. I don't know how much the water on camera is actually gonna affect how it looks. So once I finish the pre-strip, I'll try to clean it off. If it makes you feel any better, it's on my glasses too, so. Looks like Dave's got a spare bus today. I will try to film one of those old Internationals at some point when I get to drive one. I just don't know when that'll be. Alright, oil level is fine. Get back in there, please. Thank you. Power steering fluid's fine. Everything's down there. The bus just had a service yesterday, so that's a good way to fall down. I'm not anticipating it having any major problems right this second. Famous last words. I don't need my glasses. It just helps me see stuff far away when I'm driving. So to be fair, I'm not sure why I put them on when I knew it was raining. There's me being super smart. Alright, put that there. This is exactly why I have a floor mat, so that people can come on the bus and brush their feet off. As you can see by the dirt on the floor, they don't do that. But whatever. Let's go to the high school. I'm not sure why I sound like an old man every time I sit down. I'm like, I don't say let's go to the high school. I'm like, let's go to the high school. You can shut up. Don't even. I know you're about to start talking. Shush. Silence. Anyway, enough of me ranting about the radio. Good start as always. Wait for oil pressure. There we go. Fast idle. There we go. RPM stable, alternator stable, oil stable, fuel injector fine, air's climbing. Nice. Throw the strobe light on. Some low speed air condition, I guess. It's really not that hot back here, to be honest. It's a little toasty right here in the middle, but when is it not? Yeah, the floor, I need to sweep again. The floor's a mess. If you're wondering what the duct tape is on some of the seats, it's because the seats wear out and get holes in them. Except for that. That's the student did that. Not recently, like it was already there, but they don't get wear holes right there. They get them on these creases. All right, got that sorted. I'll throw that to close even though I haven't pressurized the actual door yet. We will clock in. The air is climbing but is now up in the safe zone. Would you like to complete inspection? I keep hitting that out of habit. We do it in practice, not recording it. It's only at the very beginning and very end. Am I driving 99 PM? Yes. Go. Yes. Start route. Do your thing and go away. All right, 44 was on the click from this morning, so we'll reset that. And I'll move my seat up a little bit where I can actually figure out what I'm doing.
Compartment open on your drive.
Actually, shut up! Okay, I have attempted to clean the GoPro lens off. I won't know until he edits if that actually did any good or not. Throw the headlights on, the markers were on, we'll throw hazards on, door to close. Strobe, let me pressurize that so it closes. Ambers, bada bing and bada boom, go to reds. And we'll go take a walk outside. Into the rain again, so I don't know why I bothered cleaning the thing. Blinker's fine, markers are fine. Actually, the rain backed off slightly, so that's fine. Doink. Back here. Everything back here lighting up like it's supposed to. Check the door. Be quiet, thank you. I'm not sure why the bus has to make noise for that. Front looks good. Alright, let's get out of here. Rainy day, rainy day. Kill that, kill that. Give me some of that. I'm wearing a jacket in summertime. There's a first. Because this one's not, it's not a rain jacket, but it's kind of rain resistant on the outside, so. Who's texting me? I don't know. Cool, air levels are fine. Scan the dashboard. I just tried to say scan and skim at the same time and it came out like skiminem. Skiminems. Skiminems? Skiminems. Down to low idle. My wipers on this bus are pretty crap, so good luck actually seeing anything. And my seat's now too high. I can't win with this driver's seat. I'm either too low or too high. There goes a city bus. Doink. Alright. You think by now I would have learned to hit the speed bumps straight on instead of at an angle. But as you've probably deduced from my past videos, I don't learn. Very dreary day. It's supposed, I think it's supposed to be this kind of weather for the rest of the week, which I like, except for Friday, because Friday night's football games and I do the video stuff for our local marching band, and that kind of screws me up if it rains on a Friday. But maybe it won't, maybe it'll hold off. But the entire back half of this week is supposed to be this. But any time other than Friday, I actually like that, because it's a break from the hot sun. It's something nice and almost tranquil. Does kind of make you sleepy. That's the one downside to that. Does kind of make me sleepy. Especially since it's Wednesday. I have stuff to do after work on Wednesday, whereas normally the rest of the week I'm not really doing anything after both my jobs. So Wednesday's kind of the long day. Seems to be the story of my life, though, to be honest. All right.
137, she lives with Elizabeth and Riley too. I need the address.
we get to play this fun game. What does that sticker say? No God, no peace. No God, no peace. Yeah, I would agree with that. Today is also September 11th as I record this. And I feel like the weather almost matches that vibe. It's a very sad day, and it's as though the clouds know that. Strangely, I was not actually alive then, and when I tell people that, they're kind of like, oh, don't say that, I feel old. But I was almost here. I was only just not, but it's very strange to me. I overheard a middle schooler on my bus today, and I didn't directly hear what they said, but I heard the high schooler's reaction to it. And the high schooler's reaction to it was as follows, and I'm quoting here. What do you mean you don't know what 9/11 is? I kid you not, I'm driving a school bus over listening to this, and I'm like, how do you not know what 9/11 is? But then I thought about these middle schoolers, you know, they weren't born until more or less 10 years after 9/11 happened. But it still bothers me. Like, when all those people died, we kind of, as Americans, we kind of made them a promise to never forget that. And now we are less than 2 generations out from it, really like 1 and some bits. And people aren't telling those stories anymore. It's kind of, some people wanted to just fade away, and I'm like, no, I refuse to let that day fade into history. As long as I'm alive, I will make sure it's remembered, and hopefully you will too. To my Americans watching, now I know if you're from elsewhere in the world, it may not be as significant to you. Although I say that, I've heard that it was very significant for people elsewhere in the world. But yeah, was not a good day at all. And by now it's 2:40 in the afternoon. The main event, and I hate to call it that, but was almost over with by now. Now it was just the cleanup of the whole thing and trying to put fire out that fire didn't seem to want to go out. But I mean, everything I know about the day I've had to learn in hindsight through the internet, people telling me, because I wasn't around then, which is, you know, a little strange, because in a very, I guess, morbid way, I feel like I don't feel that distant from it. It feels relatable. And there's a Cybertruck, ugly thing. Anyway, it doesn't feel like some far off thing like the Second World War or something. Like, it feels like I was around for it, even though I wasn't, if that makes any sense. And I don't know how to explain that, but I get that with a lot of 90s and early 2000s stuff. Even though I'm only 20 years old, it feels, you know, oddly familiar, even if I was not directly there for it. there's a rabbit hole you can go chase. Somebody explain to me why that happens, because I don't know. What I do know is it's sprinkling. Yeah, this is the kind of weather that I want to light a candle, read a couple chapters of a good book, and then take a nap. Obviously that's not going to happen because I'm driving a bus. But yeah, to be honest, I feel bad talking about anything else right now because it's September 11th. So this may be just a sad vlog. And you know, being from Gen Z, I do apologize in advance to everybody older than me that was actually there for it. I understand my generation and Gen Alpha is kind of, what's the nicest way I can say this? We're not a lost cause, but we're pretty darn close. There are a few of us that are sensible though. And I say that not to brag on myself, I'm not trying to do that, but just to give you some semblance of hope that there are sensible people left in these two generations. Can you guys stop texting me, please? I'm trying to figure out what's on the back of that bike right there. I thought it was a tennis racket, but the closer I get, the more it looks like a bicycle tire. Yeah, okay, y'all are going. Hold back here. Come on. Come on. There we go. I tell you what, for you folks watching, elsewhere in the world, not in the US, say what you want about us, but that right there is one thing we did right, the turning right on red thing. I feel like that should just be everywhere in the world. I don't know why you wouldn't. Some school bus drivers, depending on where you are actually not allowed to do it. We are. They don't care if we do it. But I've seen buses from elsewhere that they have, you know, decals on the back that says this vehicle does not turn right on red. I don't know if that's a state policy. I don't think it is, because we don't care. I mean, we'll turn right on red, but I've seen other counties in Georgia that are like, don't do it. So I think it's a per district basis. Just my luck, I finally get a gap in traffic and the thing turns. The 2025 Bluebird.
I'm sorry, say again, please.
Glad I'm not driving that thing. The thing with Bluebirds, we actually had Bluebird brought this was several months ago, so it would have been a 2024 model. But they did bring one to our yard, and all the drivers came out. It was like a big thing. We all came out, we all had survey sheets, and we got to check it out. Inside, outside, underneath, whatever. And it got a lot of mixed reviews, I'll be honest.
61 to 177.
There were some things about it I liked. Like having forward air conditioner right here instead of back on the side. So I feel like that would help with airflow in the summer. That I liked. I liked the fact that it had zone lighting. So instead of just turning the dome lights on or off, you could do them in sections. I did like that. And I kind of like the fact that the dome lights were on the side.
163 to Muhammad, west side.
But I also, depending on the situation, like them being on the ceiling. So do with that information what you will. I'm gonna turn that off because it's cold in here now. But yeah, we looked at the Bluebird and I just wasn't impressed. To be honest with you, it, other than the front end being updated, like the nose is new looking, but the rest of the bus looks like you pulled it straight out of 1970.
1 to 177,
and they haven't changed that at all. Whereas Thomas is using this more futuristic looking design, even though this bus now is 12 years old. But they started making the C2 in 2004. Like, imagine this bus, as modern as it looks, imagine seeing this in 2004. It was a game changer. And it still is. International just updated their bus, finally, to a smaller front end and a more curved windshield, but they've still got the spike things. But Bluebird still, oh, there you go. That's the other thing that drove me nuts about the Bluebird, was the fact they still had a center post in the windshield. Why? It's 2024, it's not 1970 anymore. I mean, you look at this bus. Thomas got rid of the center post in the windshield in 2004 when they started making the C2. International got rid of it in 2005 when they went from the first generation CEs to the second generation and they did the restyling. So both of Bluebird's competitors got rid of it and went to a one-piece windshield. And Bluebird still hasn't seemed to figure that out. And I don't know why. Everything about that bus is just outdated. The low ceiling that's rounded, the way the back door is only 4-something feet tall or 3-something feet tall, and the way the back end curves like that, no. I don't like them. Some people like them and that's fine, but I think Bluebird really dropped the ball. They should have made a fresh bus. Both of their competitors have done it, so I don't see why they theoretically couldn't. But what do I know? Maybe there's reasoning behind it. Could be. There could be some, I'm sure there's a lot of engineering reasons behind it, stuff that would have to be reworked if they were to do a new design. But if I get to pick my bus, I'm taking a C2. Failing that, if I couldn't have a C2, I'd take a International CE. But that's just my preference. Everybody has theirs. Although, as you can see, a very large portion of our fleet is now comprised of C2s. Mainly because ever since 2012, when we started buying them, that's the only thing we've bought. So our Bluebirds are pretty much retired out and gone, almost. Our first gen CEs are the tail end of the spare bus lineup. The slightly younger CEs from 05 to 09 and then through 012 for sped buses, they've all become spares, mostly. There's a couple of them that are Well, well, well. Spare bus 36 is right next to me. How about that? I am very familiar with that bus. All right. Another driver has requested for me to come over there and see them real quick. So I'm actually going to shut down here because it's not hot today for once in my life. I'll leave the strobe light on. Everything else can go off. And we'll go do our child check, even though I know for a fact there's nobody else on this bus except me. If your engine has been running longer than 10 minutes, or if you cycle the 8 ways at all, it activates the child check alarm. So you have to do that. If you're at the yard and you crank the bus up, move it somewhere and shut it down, that's not going to do anything unless you press the amber button. But anyways, I'm going to go talk to this other driver. Thank you very much for watching. Try to stay dry if you live down here where I do. And have a great day.